Hello everyone, welcome back to RCH Builders. So we are back out here at this job. It has been, I actually do think it's been about 4 weeks since we've been out here. He still hasn't painted in here yet. Looks like he has completely painted the kitchen in here. He hasn't painted the cabinets, quite possibly won't. I mean, because they don't really look that bad, actually. They are they're not as white as like the trim. They're like an off-white, but as far as I can tell, that's the color they were painted anyway, is an off-white. But anyways, so it's painted in here. It looks like he has basically done a pre-paint, and that was in that room back there. He's like done a pre-paint, basically kind of like to help prime it in the areas where we patched sheetrock mud. At least most spots. Looks like maybe missed a spot here or there, but that's no big deal. And I think it looks like he has at least hit all of the trim once. He's also painted this room in here all the way, the living room. This one's fully painted. After the floor is done, he's still going to have to come back and paint like the quarter round after he puts that in, but that's no big deal. And then in this room in here, I believe he's calling it the master bedroom simply because it's the biggest bedroom with the largest closet. It's the one with the nice big closet where we had to patch those holes up above. But it looks like he's painted, well, he's painted the trim in here. I think all the ceilings are painted, actually, in all the rooms. I'm not 100% sure, and he's painted this patch, which looks really good. You can't see where there was a patch done at all, except for the fact that it stands out because he's painted it, of course. And then it looks like he started, of course, doing the flooring in here. He's gotten it all the way up to the doorway there, and then looks like he just needs a couple more pieces on this side of where the fireplace used to be. So I might be doing this little bit, and I might not. I'm not sure. I'll discuss that with him whenever he shows up with the rest of the flooring for all the other rooms, and see if he's wanting me to do it or if he's wanting to finish it himself. It's only a couple pieces. Won't be a big deal, really. I don't want to do something that he's planning on trying to do himself. But he's running out of time before the tenant's supposed to move in, and is not being able to get it done quick enough for that. This is the flooring that he's using. This is not an expensive flooring by any means. It's not considered to be a lifetime. It's kind of a waste of money in my opinion anyways. It's not like it's necessarily always going to be that, but from my experience with rentals and working on rentals for people, I mean, I haven't technically had any rentals of my own, but working on rentals for other people and stuff, from my experience, and it's not always the case because my family, my parents, we rented a lot of times. We didn't have the money to buy houses until I was considerably older. Anyway, so we rented a lot, and we always made sure we took really good care of the house. And there are renters out there who do that. But then there are also, it seems, a lot of renters who it's not their house, so they really don't care and they don't take care of stuff. Not that all people who rent are that way. There are plenty of ones who are not. But basically what I'm saying is, as a landlord, you're not wanting to put a ton of money into flooring when flooring, a lot of times, whether it's carpet or LVP, a lot of times flooring ends up needing to be replaced every tenant or 2 tenants for some reason or another. Even if, they had pets that scratched the floors up, or, whatever, or kids that spill drinks on carpets and stuff like that. It's just a nature of the game, something that generally has to be done. So you don't want to spend a lot of money. You're not going to buy lifetime flooring usually for this project. These ones, I believe this particular set is supposed to be good for 10 to 15 years is the length of the warranty instead of lifetime. And then on top of that, you need to make sure you read all instructions. So on the box, it says that you can use padding for an added acoustical cushioning effect if you want to. It does say you can do that. But if you read the actual warranty and instructions, it says in there that if you use padding, the warranty is null and void. So always make sure you read all the instructions, all the warranty information, because that is going to help you determine whether you would use padding or don't want to use padding. I'm not going to use padding for that particular reason in here. Also, when he did this room, he didn't use padding. So I'm assuming he's not, it's not like he's wanting the added acoustical cushioning. But anyways, like I say, read all instructions because that matters. But now I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm probably going to start in the living room just because it's the next room adjacent to here. Another thing that he wants done in here, and we're going to be doing, is we are going to be putting a threshold in every single doorway. Now, in most cases, when you're doing this flooring, you're wanting to try to have it be really cohesive, let it just flow from room to room. But again, because it's a rental and because floors very much are one of the biggest things that get damaged and have to be replaced, it's floors and sheetrock and paint. Those things are pretty much always going to have to be, at least to some extent, redone in between tenants. Not always, but quite often. So that is why he wants a threshold in every single room, so that if he has to come back and replace, say, the floors in this bedroom, at least he doesn't have to do it in the living room, or vice versa. Maybe he's got to replace them in the living room, but not the kitchen. So we're going to be doing a threshold in every single doorway for that reason. Also, with doing the thresholds and separating the rooms out, we're going to be running each room individually of other rooms based off what is the best orientation for that particular room. What that means is, like in this room, you can see the flooring is going this way. I'm going to stand like this because maybe that'll help. So the flooring is going this way. And in this room, the room is longer going behind and forward to me, and it is shorter this way. So a lot of times when you're running the flooring, you can make the room appear to be wider by running the flooring in the shorter direction. So it just gives a visual effect that helps make this room look wider than it is. So that's very common to do, and that's what has been done in here. This flooring runs this way to appear wider than it is. The room's plenty wide enough, but it just helps give an added effect that helps, say, someone who might have claustrophobia lets them feel like the room is bigger than it is. In the living room, we're not going to go based off that because that room is so big in both directions. We're actually going to be going based off of what will be a nice flow from the doorway as you enter through the kitchen and all of that. So the living room and the kitchen, we're going to run both of those in line with the front wall. But each of the bedrooms, we're probably going to do that same thing. We're going to go side to side like this, simply for the effect of it appearing wider than it is. Going to go ahead and get started. We're going to have to rip up all of the padding that was here from the previous flooring. Sweep everything up real good because you don't want any little debris underneath the flooring. And then put our little spacers in. Might have to multi-tool around the doors to make everything fit good. And then just start putting it in. All right, everyone. So that is 2 of these rooms completely finished. There's one more room that's about this size. Of course, the kitchen, the laundry room's maybe about half the size of this room, and then the bathroom, which will have a bunch of cut-ups in them. I will probably still put them on hyperlapse, but for y'all to see if you want to. That'll be up to you if you want to keep watching or not. But otherwise, it's of course the same thing over and over as far as putting in this flooring. So something that I will usually always do is I will try and use the door stop as my point for a threshold if I'm going to put a threshold in. So that's where I went ahead and I cut this off flush with that. I did the same thing with that one over there and the one going into that 1 bedroom that the homeowner had already previously done. Another thing is that I will do oftentimes, not always, it'll depend on the setup. So in most cases, a lot of times when I'm coming across a doorway, I will actually not, I'll do like this one in here, where it's 2-pieced. The reason why I do that is because it allows you to slide the piece under the wall that way and then under the wall this way, especially when the seam is really, really close. So you can probably tell between the difference of color between this one and this one a little bit easier, roughly where that seam is. I mean, that is within, I believe, 3/4 of an inch to the wall. So when you got a really skinny piece like that, trying to slide that piece in this way makes it really difficult to do without breaking it. It's a lot easier with 2 pieces, and the threshold will help make that join really well, still look good. On this one over here though, because of the difference between the 2 floors and the way that it was doing, and I had to cut out a section of this luan here and then shim it out using some wood shims to make it flow good. With that, I didn't want a break in this piece because it would be too easy for when someone steps there to create a pressure point that then pops the seam. So on this one, I did do it as a single piece across, and I will often do that as long as you have a pretty wide section. You can see where going between it and the wall, there's about 4 inches right there. So that allows you to be able to bend that without it snapping super easy. It's not a weak piece. Another thing that I will do is, I have a mess here in the kitchen. I'm gonna, a lot of time, the reason is the boxes I'll throw away probably at the end of each day usually. It just keeps me from running in and out the house for no reason. But these pieces, I will usually keep till the end of the job. Except for I'm separating these ones out. These ones, when I take these boxes out, I'll throw them away. The reason is because they do not have a good corner. What I mean by that is like all of these pieces will have at least one end and the back side, which means that I can use it either as a starter or a finishing piece if I end up with the ability to do so. None of them were wide enough to go across here, but wide enough and long enough, except for one piece. So I could have had to cut a whole piece out to make this one, but because I saved those till the very end, I was able to just go through this scrap pile and find a piece that I could just cut down and use for that. So that's just a little helpful tip that I would give is don't throw away your pieces, your scrap pieces until you're done. Also, when I was in that very first room and I had to rip all the way across the front wall in order to be able to get the doorway to go in where the entrance door is, where I had to rip all the way across there, those pieces fit perfectly on the other side of the room. So again, don't throw them away till you're finished. It's much better to throw it away when you're done. This is project's gonna take multiple days, but I'm doing it all in one video. I'm not trying to do that with you. But you might have noticed in previous videos I have used a LVP flooring snap, basically a cutter, but that one more snaps them as opposed to cutting them. And I have always borrowed that from my father. The reason why is because that particular LVP, and that used to be the only version there was. It's much quicker than trying to use a saw or using a blade and then try to snap it. It's way quicker, way easier, a lot faster. But anyways, I have borrowed that from him because that thing was over $100. And you know, I would not advise someone to go buy that to put flooring down in their house. However, I was trying this one out instead of buying his. They have now come out with a new version. This is made by Anvil, and I'm gonna try to find and put a link down in the description that will take you to this piece if you want to use it for LVP flooring. It is way quicker than trying to use a knife, a lot easier. This one was only, I think, about 30 bucks. I think it was like 29 something. But anyway, so only $30. In my opinion, that makes it well worth it, even if you're just trying to do one room in your own house. The other one, again, I wouldn't advise you to buy it. Have been trying it out to see how good it does. I don't like to basically suggest you buy something that is a piece of trash. But this thing has been doing very well, cutting like butter. This one actually does cut as opposed to snapping. Which I do actually prefer that over the snap. The snap still does well, but it does create a kind of messed up edge. You know, usually doesn't matter because you're putting on the end of the walls, but like if you're going around like a fireplace like I was doing in the other room, a cut is much better because it makes a nice straight line as opposed to something that may be squished or anything like that. Anyways, so yeah, if you would like to use this, again, I'll leave a description down, leave a link down in the description for y'all. I'm trying to put most of the tools that I use. It's up to y'all. You can buy them down there. You can go to the store and buy them, but I know sometimes some people are interested in what tools are used and stuff. And I always try to, some of the tools that I put down there, they're not going to be the cheapest version of that tool. You can buy the cheapest version of it if you want to, but the ones that I always put down there are ones that I use every day from experience of trying different ones and finding out that, you know, usually it's cheap for a reason. Anyways, as far as talking, I'm going to end that part here. Probably put some more hyperlapse of the rest of the rooms for y'all if you want to watch it. But otherwise, that's it for this video. Hope you've enjoyed watching, and I'll see you the next time.